Hey guys, Deadbot3 here, back once again to do another episode of my classic horror reviews. And for tonight's review, I thought that since today is April Fool's Day, I thought what better movie to do a review on than the 1986 slasher film April Fool's Day. This is an old double feature DVD put out by Paramount, which comes with April Fool's Day and the original My Bloody Valentine, the R-rated cut. But yeah. Anyway, guys, April Fool's Day is basically a traditional slasher film. Basically, a bunch of teenagers go out to a house and where they are then picked off one by one. But this one's got a bit of a twist to it. Basically, the film follows a group of teenagers that end up going to a party at an old mansion, basically in the middle of a lake. It's actually on an island, and it's set up by their friend Muffy, who is very rich and is said to actually inherit the house by her mother, and once she reaches, I think once time she reaches 18. And basically, you know, they're all there basically just to have fun on a 3-day weekend. Each of them, you know, each person is different. There's of course the jock character who, if you guys don't, I can't remember his name, but if you guys have seen the movie Leprechaun, he's in that one. He's basically the main character. There's also a girl, the girl from Friday the 13th Part 2, she's also one of the stars in this film. I cannot remember her name, but that's them too. There's also, of course, like I said, a jock character. There's also a character in it who, he basically goes around videotaping everybody, trying to do his own, trying to, you know, do film and stuff like that. And he's kind of one of those, you know, kind of like, you know, guys that you think would get all the girls and things like that. But he's kind of a douchebag type of character. But as the movie goes on, you tend to like him, you know. And like I said, each person has their own thing that they do and things like that. And of course, and basically, sooner or later, they're all picked off one by one by a serial killer, as I said. There's not really much to talk so much about it, unless I talk, you know, a lot about every single kill that's in the film, which I'm not going to do. But, you know, the characters in the film, you tend to end up liking them. Even some of the characters at the beginning of the film that you don't really enjoy, you, of course, you would tend to start liking them and start to care about them. So that's really good. The acting is pretty well done. Of course, there's, of course, the old man that warns them about, you know, doing it. At the beginning of the film, they have to get to the island on a ferry. And that's the only way on and off the island is if they go onto this ferry. And there's an accident at the very beginning of the film where one of their friends gets hurt, and the sheriff, of course, goes over to them and says, you know, hey, if you guys keep messing around like this, then I'm gonna, you know, then this is done. This is the last time you guys are gonna be able to do this. The old man that you know, drives the ferry, of course, he's telling them, you know, he doesn't want to see them screwing around or bad thing is gonna happen. You know, typical film. This, of course, was done as a way of cashing in to, like, films like Halloween or Friday the 13th. But this one, this is probably one that is not, I don't think it's talked about enough, and I really think it should be talked about more. I actually prefer this over a lot of other sort of, I don't want to call them, like, a Halloween ripoff. I want to call it as more of a, movies that are trying to cash in by basically, you know, putting them on different holidays. One thing about, you know, like I said, the characters are pretty well, but you know, I actually prefer this a lot more. It's actually one of the more creepier slasher films that I've seen, and definitely one of the one that I prefer over maybe, I don't know, maybe Terror Train. I think I prefer this over Terror Train, although I did enjoy Terror Train a lot as well. So if you've seen Terror Train, which is another film by Jamie Lee Curtis, then I prefer this one. But yeah, like I said, the gore in it is pretty well done. There's not that many gory death scenes. There's only a very few of them, which was pretty surprising, it being a slasher film. A lot of those death scenes were done off camera, which I know would bother some people who are fans of horror films, but I actually like it. I like the fact that it happens because, you know, once you see somebody about to get killed and you don't see it, you're kind of like, well, I wonder what happened to them. And in your mind, of course, starts going around thinking, gee, I wonder you know, what happened to them and things like that. But yeah, the characters are pretty well done. I really like the character of Muffy because she honestly, throughout the opening of the film, she seems like an innocent person and things like that. You know, just wanted to start this party. And she's the one that's actually doing all the pranks on everybody. And it's basically small little things like, you know, she has one of those she puts a whoopee cushion in somebody's chair while they're all sitting down. There's also those chairs where the back legs they'll bend backwards and it'll cause you to fall backwards and things like that. Just little things like that are just like little pranks that you do on everybody. But then as the movie goes on, her character changes from this lighthearted person to this this really quiet, kind of dark person, and the music, even when she's around, changes, and it's all weird. And, like, at one point they're talking about, this is after some of the characters get knocked off and they're trying to get the sheriff down, and of course she's like, she's going, and because he has to get there by ferry, and she basically says, the tad, sometimes people don't make it to the island because of the tad, and she just gets a really bit of a weird sort of thing going on, so she gets very suspicious, but I don't want to get too much into that. Of course, this is one of those films that have got a twist ending into it. I honestly don't really know what I think about the ending about this movie, because like I was expecting it, of course. Well, first things first, I don't want to give too much away, but you kind of figure out who is the killer at the end of the film. But then the movie takes a twist, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, never mind. This is one of those, I really don't want to give too much away, but this is a slight spoiler. At the end of the film, you're kind of like, oh, okay, so everything's good. Everything's fine at the end of it. That's all I'm going to say. But I hope that didn't give it away. But yeah, April Fool's Day, I definitely recommend checking it out for everyone who's into like really good slasher flicks. Like I said, not a lot of blood, not a lot of gore. The acting is decent. The music's alright. But yeah, this is definitely one that I definitely recommend checking out. This one and of course My Bloody Valentine. But yeah, April Fool's Day, definitely one to check out. But anyway, guys, this concludes my episode of my classic horror review. I hope you guys enjoyed my review for April Fool's Day, and I hope everybody out there had a good April Fool's Day and things. But yeah, I'm probably going to be doing a lot more of these classic horror reviews. But thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you guys later.